So the foldable iPhone just got way more interesting, and weirdly, it's not because of the display this time, or the crease, or the price that's apparently going to make your bank account file for emotional damage. No, the new rumor says Apple's Foldable could actually become the easiest foldable phone to repair on the market, which doesn't even sound like a real sentence. A repairable foldable? Since when? But before we dive into this, quick reminder, around 90% of you guys watching these videos still aren't subscribed, which honestly feels illegal considering how terminally online I am searching through Apple rumors all day. So if you enjoy these deep Apple discussions and want more foldable iPhone coverage as we get closer to release, hit subscribe. So this new report comes from Instant Digital over on Weibo, and they're basically doubling down on previous claims about the foldable iPhone's internal design. Apparently the engineering inside this thing is so clean and modular that teardown videos are supposedly going to shock people when the phone launches, which instantly made me think two things. Firstly, Apple absolutely wants this thing to survive durability tests on YouTube. Like, you just know internally they're terrified of another foldable screen breaks after one grain of dust enters the hinge situation. Samsung spent years getting clowned for that. Remember the original Galaxy Fold disaster? Reviewing it's dying after people peel the screen protector off because it looks like a screen protector. Honestly, one of the funniest tech launches ever. Completely catastrophic, but funny in hindsight. And secondly, this has John Ternus written all over it. The MacBook Neo was surprisingly repair-friendly by Apple standards, and Ternus was heavily involved in that project. He clearly seems to care more about durability and actual engineering practically than some previous Apple hardware choices. This foldable iPhone is also expected to be the first major iPhone unveiled under him as CEO, assuming the timeline rumors are accurate. So I generally think a lot of these hardware choices are coming from his philosophy. Obviously, yes, the EU is also breathing down Apple's neck constantly. They probably have an entire office in Cupertino dedicated to what does Europe want from us now? But still, if Apple products become more repairable because of pressure mixed with better leadership decisions, good. I'm not complaining, especially with a foldable, because let's be honest, foldables still scare normal consumers. Tech nerds love them, reviewers love them. Every year there's another YouTuber dramatically unfolding a phone in slow motion while ambient music plays in the background like they've discovered fire. But average consumers? Most people still look at foldables like experimental gadgets for rich people who enjoy anxiety. And honestly, fair enough. You're taking the most fragile part of a smartphone, the display, and bending it repeatedly every single day. There's a reason Apple waited this long. They were never going to release one until they felt they could make it Apple reliable. Whether they've actually achieved that, we'll see. Now, according to this report, Apple's apparently using a much more logical internal layout than other foldables. One example is the motherboard placement. Instead of running cables awkwardly across the hinge area for the volume buttons, Apple reportedly moved the buttons to the top edge of the device, which sounds tiny, but apparently it massively simplifies the internal structure and frees up more space for the battery and display. And it makes sense. Foldables are insanely cramped internally. You've got two batteries, hinge mechanisms, flexible display layers, cooling systems, cameras, wireless charging components, antenna lines. These things are basically engineering nightmares disguised as smartphones. So every tiny bit of internal efficiency matters. Apparently Apple's internal stacking design is also almost entirely focused around maximizing battery space, and this could end up having the biggest battery ever in an iPhone, which honestly needs to happen because foldables absolutely chew through battery life. That giant 7.8-inch display rumored for this thing? Yeah, good luck powering that all day alongside Apple Intelligence features constantly running in the background, trying to summarize your notifications into complete nonsense. Your mom seems emotionally concerned. Thanks Siri, revolutionary! But generally, battery life is probably one of the biggest reasons I think Apple waited so long to enter this market. And I actually think Apple entering the foldable market this late could benefit them massively, because right now Samsung, Google, Honor, OnePlus, they've already spent years figuring out what people hate about foldables. Creases, weight, durability, dust resistance, app scaling, battery anxiety, weird aspect ratios. Apple basically got to sit there silently watching everyone else beta test the category for half a decade. It's the most Apple thing ever. They do this constantly. People mock them for being late, but when they arrive, the market is mature enough for most people. They did it with OLED, they did it with larger phones, they did it with widgets, they did it with the always on display after Android users screamed about it since the dinosaurs existed, and they'll probably do it again here. Now, another thing from this report that caught my attention is Touch ID potentially returning on the foldable. Honestly, I completely believe this rumour. Face ID inside a foldable sounds annoying from an engineering perspective because of thickness constraints and camera placement, especially with a thinner design. Plus, Touch ID on the side button actually works really well. I use it on my iPad 11 and I barely even think about it. It's quick, reliable, and honestly less awkward than Face ID sometimes when your phone's lying flat on a desk while you pretend to work. Though it is odd the Ultra iPhone comes with inferior biometrics. In fact, I still think the naming is funny because Apple calling something Ultra usually just means, please prepare financially. The price rumors are around $2,000. $2,000! I don't even know how Apple Store employees are gonna say that with a straight face. Would you like Apple Care with that? Brother, I would like emotional support with that. And yeah, I still think this thing is going to sell ridiculously well. Not in huge numbers, obviously, this won't be the new standard iPhone overnight, but amongst creators, tech enthusiasts, business users, rich Apple fans who just want to buy anything with the logo, yeah, demand's going to be insane initially, especially because Apple entering a category instantly legitimizes it for many people. That's just the reality. You can scream Android had it first all day, but normal consumers don't care. Once Apple does something, suddenly carriers advertise it differently, app developers prioritize it properly, accessory makers flood the market, and social media starts paying attention. Also, I'm very curious how Apple handles iOS on this thing, because if they want to stretch normal iPhone apps onto a giant folding display, then honestly, what was the point? They need proper multitasking improvements, real multitasking, not the current iPhone approach where opening two apps at once feels practically illegal, and this is where Apple may not want things to overlap. You see, a foldable iPhone almost starts invading iPad territory. A 7.8-inch internal display is massive. That's basically iPad mini territory once unfolded, so Apple has to carefully position this thing without cannibalizing their own products too much. Then again, Apple does cannibalize itself all the time now. The MacBook Neo destroys iPad sales for some people, the MacBook Air destroys parts of the iPad Pro market, the iPhone Pro destroys compact cameras, and the Vision Pro destroyed people's savings accounts. So maybe they don't care anymore. One thing I will say though, if this repairability rumor is true, Apple better lean into it publicly. Don't hide it in some environmental PDF buried 17 pages deep on their site. Show it off. Demonstrate hinge replacements, talk about modularity, because people need reassurance with foldables more than any other smartphone category, especially at this price. Nobody wants a $2,000 iPhone turning into modern art after one accident. And honestly, I'm hyped to see the teardown videos for this thing now because Apple products usually look internally beautiful anyway, the engineering teams are borderline obsessive, half of the components inside iPhones already look arranged by someone with severe perfectionism, so imagining that level of engineering applied to a foldable? Yeah, okay, I'm interested. Anyway, let me know down below if you'd actually buy a foldable iPhone, or if you still think these things are overpriced tech experiments for people who enjoy living dangerously. And before you go, hit subscribe and smash the hype button as well. It massively helps smaller channels like mine push these videos out to more Apple fans. We're getting dangerously close to this thing becoming real now, and trust me, the rumours are only going to get more crazier from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.